Hey everyone, Mick back here, and welcome to my new series, Vinyl Illuminations, where I put some light on my favourite labels, artists, and other genres that I'm interested in. So today I thought we'd start off with BYG Actuel. You saw the first label design, and here's their second label design, both featuring a Buddha. And that certainly reflects the spirituality involved with this 1969 French label. Now, the label released a variety of musics, mainly progressive and psychedelic and free jazz sounds. So some of the bands they started with were Amason. This is their Catalyst label. That's a progressive act. And the label BYG is named after the founders of the label. So that's Jean, George Caracas, and Jean-Luc Young, who actually produced most of these albums. And the other key person involved was Fernando Baruso. That's your BYG. And the key thing about the BYG Actuel series, it features the fantastic design work of Claude Caudron, certainly up there with Reed Miles for some iconic jazz designs. Now, most of these, when they came out originally, ended up or came in a sleeve that looks something like this, a bit like a paper bag, and you can see the perforation there. Continuing on with some of my favourite releases from the label, this time we have Music Electronica Viva, and this is the sound pool, and certainly an electronic piece of music. And for those who know something about their composers in the minimalist electronic field, they would recognise Alvin Curran, who is a key member of this ensemble. Now for the psychedelic side, everyone here may know Gong, and Gong of course features the Australian David Allen. Now this is their Canterbury classic, Magic Brother. If you like Pied Piper from the Gates of Dawn and that sort of release, you're definitely going to love this. And there's David and Julie Smith. Okay, the big guys made it over from the States, from the free jazz world as well. So as Nixon's regimes were rolling into the USA, various members of the free jazz underground saw the opportunity to go to Europe and also to places like Algiers to take part in a jazz festival with the aim of bringing them back to their African origins. Here we have Sun Ra. This is a Soul and Myth approach, volumes 1 and 2. It initially came in the form of this double album. However, it was later reissued as 2 single albums. Again, featuring the Claude Caudron artwork and various versions of the initial version artwork, but certainly prime Sun Ra. Give the Drummer Some. Here's Andrew Cyril with What About. Just a percussion album, And the executive producer on this was Claude Delclue, who people may know from the Full Moon Ensemble. Certainly a special album. Free the drummers. Next up, we have Arthur Jones with Scorpio. Arthur Jones was born in Cleveland and certainly was involved with Albert and Don Ayler, Frank Wright and Bobby Few. Claude Delclue plays drums on this, and he was a key part of this series, helping bridge the label to the free jazz underground. Next up, Archie Schaap with Yasmina, a Black Woman. This has some famous personnel on it, with Clifford Thornton, Lester Bowie, Arthur Jones, Malachi Favor, Sonny Murray, Art Taylor, Dave Burrell, and Philly Joe Jones. Certainly names we all know. This one's a special one. This was my first BYG Actuel that I actually owned, and I bought this from a record fair in Brisbane. This features Jimmy Lyons, Alan Silvers on bass, Andrew Cyrils on drums, who we've already seen, and Lester Bowie, and certainly one of the best in the series. Okay, we're coming to my favourite albums, top two. This is Dave Burrell Echo, and this is one of my favourites on the label. I've been going through my top 10 here in this expose. This features Gretchen Moncure III on trombone, Arthur Jones, Archie Schaap, and Sonny Murray on drums. Certainly a free jazz freak out. And my second favourite album on the BYG label. Now, let's go for number one. Okay, this is monumental. It's a triple LP by Alan Silver, the bass player, and the Celestial Communication Orchestra. This piece is called Seasons and goes for over 2 hours and 20 minutes. And the Celestial Communication Orchestra features Lester Bowie, Alan Shorten, Joseph Jarman, Steve Lacy, Roscoe Mitchell, Robin Kenyatta, Michelle Portel, Kent Carter, Joachim Kuhn, Jerome Cooper. Certainly a lot of names there that are synonymous with free jazz and even French free jazz. And my favourite album on the BYG label, and my favourite album in the Actuel series. The Actuel series is actually named after a French avant-garde magazine of the same name. Okay, a couple of interesting validations. Now, these French pressings are certainly reasonable, and for the discerning listener, certainly fine. If we need to go to the audiophile level, I don't know if it really exists on the BYG label, but if you really want to maximize the sound, I recommend the Japanese pressings. Yeah, Free Jazz Mad Japan certainly embraced the BYG Actuel label, and you get a nice hobby in them. So what happened to the label founders? So BYG wasn't financially stable. So Jean-Georges Caracas went on to form the celluloid label. This was the first celluloid label I owned, the Golden Palominos, doing the Skip Spence classic Omaha, and names people will know here would be Henry Kaiser, Anton Fayer, and Bill Laswell. So certainly keeping up with the underground. Here's another Golden Palominos album that I have, and Carla Bley features on this one. The celluloid label, certainly key. So, what happens to Jean-Luc Young? Well, here's a label you know, Charlie. He forms the Charlie label, who go on to reissue the actual CDs and records throughout the 70s. This here is a version of the Gone Classic Camembert Electric, which is part of the current series that's available, which is being remastered, and certainly equals the kind of albums that were issued in the 60s sound-wise. You wouldn't be losing anything by getting this version of the albums. Okay, hope everyone enjoyed that. BYG Actuel, one of the key labels in avant-garde and one of my favourite labels of all time. Okay, thanks everyone. Talk soon.